Never thought I'd be making a video about Fire Emblem, but hey, I mean, I'm down. Shit. Hey, like I just said, we about to talk about Fire Emblem, bro. This crazy ass series in this Nintendo universe that is honestly pretty hated over on the West, but loved in the East, bro. Why is Fire Emblem such a turnoff for gamers, bro? And I think there's a multitude of reasons, right? And I was one of those people. I'm not gonna lie, like. I'm gonna go through my whole history with Fire Emblem personally. This is basically what that video is about, and I kind of just want to get into why I feel like just coming from both sides, because I feel like I'm on both low-key, and I'm gonna explain why I'm on both, right? Fire Emblem has been around since the Nintendo Entertainment System, bro. That is Nintendo's first true like step in gaming, right? Back in 1990, bro, the first Fire Emblem game dropped on the NES. That is insane to think about, because I didn't think this series had that many entries. 17 in them hoes. I didn't know about this series because Fire Emblem to me was always kind of that secondary Nintendo franchise. I mean, I would even say the third in line, probably not even secondary, bro. Like, because I feel like you have your Marios, your Pokemons, your Zeldas, and then you have like your Kirby's, your Metroids. I don't know what's after that actually, but then I say that as a person living over in the West. I'm in the States, so I feel like if I were to ask somebody that lives in Japan, they would have a completely different answer, bro. Some of them probably don't even rock with Mario, bro. They probably really only like Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, and things of that nature. So that gets me into the one specific series that introduced me, and probably introduced a lot of y'all to Fire Emblem. My bad. That was a little loud. I'm gonna have to turn that one down. This game in particular got eyes on Fire Emblem for me, at least, and you know, I figured out about the series. Yes, I understand that Marth and Roy got introduced in Melee. That's before this game. I don't have that game. I didn't even play that game as a kid. This was my childhood Smash. So I know about Marth and Ike. I didn't know about Roy, bro. I saw them characters and I was like, man, they look cool. Like, I feel like they looked different from any other Nintendo game that was in this game. You know what I mean? You have big plumbers, girls in robot suits, animals. Like, dude, like Martha and Ike just looked like they looked like the most serious people in the game, if I'm being honest, bro. But that didn't really get me into the series at all. I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't hit my mom up and be like, can I get the next Fire Emblem? No, I wanted the next Mario game, bro. I wanted Mario Galaxy 2. But then this game dropped, right? Wait, can y'all see it? Smash for Wii U. I used to play this game religiously. This is the game that actually got me into like actually trying to learn combos in Smash, actually trying to learn how to dodge and block and like string moves together and everything like that, right? Marth, Lucina, and Ike. And then low-key, when I was playing this game, because Echo Fighters wasn't really a thing in this game until, like, you know, the next one. But when she was in this game, I was like, bro, she plays exactly like Marth. What is the point of her being here? And she looks exactly like Marth, bro. So I was like, what is the purpose of this character, bro? So right then and there, I was like, so all Fire Emblem people the same, low-key. I'm not gonna lie. I thought every single, because Marth and Ike already looked similar. Ike just had a bigger sword that was a little stronger. Lucina was the exact same. She was basically a girl version of Marth, bro. And then I see Robin, and I'm like, okay, they got magical niggas in Fire Emblem? I didn't know. And that's also around the time where I would start looking at like other people's reactions to Smash reveals online on YouTube. You know what I mean? You know how big that was back in the day, bro. And I would see other people's reactions to Robin being in Smash, and some people were excited, some people were like, you know, they didn't care that much. But I saw Robin, I was like, this dude got white hair, this dude got a magical looking book. I got the Smash game, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't play as him. I thought he was a little ass in the game, but that was still tough to see. And then the DLC came out, and they came out with Corrin, who looked exactly like Robin. I don't get it, bro. Corrin actually does have a way different move set than everyone else in Fire Emblem, though. He actually moves completely different than anyone else, and he has a different weapon. I don't even know what Corrin is. But at this time, I was still kind of like, these characters are not making me want to play Fire Emblem at all. Nintendo that same year, Nintendo drops Hyrule Warriors. We're not talking about Zelda, but they drop Hyrule Warriors, and I don't like those type of games. I don't like the type of games where you can swing your sword once and everyone dies, right? I did get the game on Switch. I didn't get it on Wii U. I got it on Switch, and it was okay. Like, you know what I mean? It was nothing special. But then I realized that they made a Fire Emblem Warriors game, and I was like, why not? Because this game came out in 2017. This is the first game, or this game came out the first year of the Switch, and low-key I was just hella excited for anything Switch at the time, and I don't know why I picked it up, and I didn't care for it. It was the exact same concept of what I didn't like. Maybe it shouldn't have been my first Fire Emblem game, because when I played it, all I saw was a few people I saw in the Smash Bros games. Some people I don't know. Low-key, most of them look very similar. They all play very similar. They're just swiping down each other. It did not push me at all towards this series. But then, of course, we all know Smash Ultimate, the best Smash game. I will always say that wholeheartedly with my heart. Everybody from past Smash games, including some new ones, into this game, right? They added an Echo Fighter, right? And this is what turned me off from Fire Emblem, low-key. This was insane. Alright, so y'all already know Marth and Roy were in Smash Melee, which is the second Smash game that came out in 2001 for the GameCube, right? So, in that game, Roy is basically one of the very first Echo Fighters in the Smash series in general, right? I know Echo Fighters really got confirmed and introduced in this game, but Roy was technically the very first Echo Fighter ever in a Smash game. Actually, I take that back, because Dr. Mario, never mind, he's one of the first, right? And he was basically an Echo Fighter of Marth. They didn't bring Roy back into the DLC for Smash 4. When basically Lucina basically took Bro's place as Marth's Echo Fighter in that same game. They brought Roy back as an Echo Fighter, or they brought Roy back as a regular fighter in Smash Wii U. He was a little different from Marth and Lucina, not that much. Smash Ultimate comes out. Everybody from past games are in the game, right? So that means Marth, Lucina, and Roy is in this game. Chrom. Some random nigga named Chrom, and everyone was excited for Chrom back in the day, bro. When it was announcing niggas, everyone was excited for Chrom, bro. Chrom is an Echo Fighter of Roy. So Chrom is, not only does Chrom look exactly like Marth and Lucina. By the way, this is coming from somebody at this point did not play any Fire Emblem game other than that warrior shit. Chrom is an Echo Fighter of Roy, which is technically an Echo Fighter of Marth, who already has another Echo Fighter of Lucina, bro. So we basically have 4 of the same niggas in this game. When all of that was going on, of course, there were some people excited for Chrom. There were some people, a lot of people that were like, this Fire Emblem slop has got to go. Then they, in 2018, at E3 2018, the same E3 where they showed off everything for Smash, they showed a new Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And at the time, I didn't give a damn, but like I said, I was still on that high from the Switch. I was still going, bro. Everything Nintendo was dropping to me, maybe not everything, but most of the things Nintendo was dropping at the time was straight heat. They dropped it the next year, 2019, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I play the game. I absolutely loved my experience, bro. Did you hear me? Fire Emblem Three Houses is one of the greatest games on Switch. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, are you serious? I played that game and I was actually like mind blown on how much was going on, bro. The whole sense of there's 3 different houses, kind of like Hogwarts Legacy, even though this game came out first before Hogwarts. Whatever. I'm just kind of trying to make a comparison to you Nintendo niggas. The having 3 different branches of stories, right? And the fact that like you're basically a teacher at this school, and it's basically I haven't played it in a minute, but it's basically just this whole fighting camp where there's 3 different classes, there's 3 different teachers that you can go with. There's Edelgard and those 2 other niggas. I went with Edelgard clearly because that's my girl. Along with all this drama happening with the school because everybody's attacking this school and just a bunch of bro. And of course, like the time skip and everything. It's great. It's a great game. And the main reason I'm making this video is because I want to replay Three Houses again. I was like, Fire Emblem is tough. And it low-key made me want to go back and play the other Fire Emblem games. But I just never got around to it for some reason. Not gonna lie to you. Then, we're coming back to this. The Smash Ultimate DLC. And Fighter Pass 1 had bangers on top of bangers. They started off with Joker from Persona 5. They went to Dragon Quest, which crazy how long it took them to add Dragon Quest, but hey, then they finally added Banjo. Then they added Terry from Fatal Fury. Is that the name of the game? And then everyone's talking about who's gonna be this last fighter. Who's gonna be the very last fighter on this DLC pack of one of the biggest games of this generation, right? Who's gonna be the final fighter, bro? Because y'all already know how big fighter reveals are in Smash. Is it gonna be Steve from Minecraft? Is it gonna be Sora from Kingdom Hearts, bro? These niggas went with Byleth from Fire Emblem. I was in the barbershop, bro. I was in the barbershop, bro, waiting for my dad. I had already got my shit cut. Waiting for my dad to get out the chair, and I'm just sitting there watching this stream. And when I tell you that when they opened with the trailer, and you know, I had already played Three Houses. I don't have the physical game. I have the digital one, sorry. But I had already played Three Houses. So I was like, when the trailer opened, I immediately knew what it was. I immediately knew what it was, bro. And I was sitting there like, wow. Like, I had no reaction. I was genuinely like, no way they're really ending this off. And then the stream went off, and I went to go see other people's reactions. Of course, shitload of people here in the States are just like livid, bro. Like, why is Byleth the last character? And I see people's reaction to Japan, and they're screaming, bro. Just like how we were screaming when Banjo got announced. They were screaming their ass off, bro. And I was like, damn. Low-key? I was low-key in the back like, hey, good shit. Like, go off Byleth. Good job. After, I know if I didn't play Three Houses, I would have been mad just like everyone else. But I was low-key in the corner with the little phone finger like, go Byleth. But there was also a side of me where I was just like, damn, the other characters we could have got other than this Fire Emblem. Another Fire Emblem character, bro. Even though she does play way different than any other Fire Emblem character in the game. We move on 2022. Another Fire Emblem Warriors game. I'm just going to skip past this one. I didn't play it because I don't like the Warriors games. Move on to that next year, 2023. Fire Emblem Engage. I was actually hella excited for this game. I didn't really look too deep into this game before dropping because I was like, man, Three Houses was tough. Three Houses was tough, so this gotta be tough too, right? A lot of people actually love this game. I didn't like it at all, actually. This game, I'm not gonna say it sucks because maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, but I didn't rock with this one. The story was not great to me. The story was very slow, and it didn't catch me at all, and I eventually just put it down because I was like, fuck this. Apparently, this is how traditional Fire Emblem games are. It's kind of your traditional tactical RPG, turn-based RPG. And when I figured that out, I was like, oh, so I fell in love with the Outlier. When I figured that out, I was like, damn, I don't even want to play the other Fire Emblems then. If this is how the other Fire Emblems are, I don't want to play it. Now they're about to drop Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. And I watched the direct, and it looks very similar to Three Houses with this time there's 4 different branching paths, but there's one main true character, which I don't understand that. Because what's the point of these 4? I guess if you go through all 4 of the routes, maybe the final boss gets easier or like something like that. I do think the game looks enjoyable. I don't know if I'll pick it up day one because that month is packed with releases, but I will eventually pick it up and I will eventually play it because it looks great. The game looks good. Like I said, it looks like Three Houses, and I love Three Houses. One thing I don't like about the marketing for Fortune's Weave is that now I feel like they're using this time skip as a marketing strategy, and to me it's like that's kind of what drew me into Three Houses. The time skip that's in the middle of the game was to me it was different from a lot of other gaming stories. I know a lot of RPGs have time skips, but I think I've noted many times I'm not the biggest RPG guy. And when I do play an RPG, it's very specific, and I do like the certain RPGs that I picked up and played. To me, what brings me into an RPG and what keeps me going in an RPG is the story. Because to me, the gameplay does not keep me going at all. I mean, at all. Well, sometimes. Say like in Pokemon, low-key the gameplay does keep me going. Say like in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, the story of that game was phenomenal. I didn't care for the gameplay. The gameplay was passable to me. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not my speed. But the story of Xenoblade 1 is one of the greatest stories I've ever played, and it made me go through 25-30 hours of that game. And that's what didn't keep me going with Engage, and hopefully that's what keeps me going with Fortune's Weave. But with the time skip, they literally marketed the time skip in the direct. And it's like, to me, it's like, okay, well, now when I play the game, I'm expecting this time skip. The reason why people are turned off from Fire Emblem is mainly because of this. I think Smash ruined Fire Emblem for a lot of people, especially in the West. It almost ruined it for me. If I wasn't on the hype train on the Switch and didn't pick up Three Houses, I would have been right with y'all niggas with the violence situation, bro. And then, of course, you see the gameplay of Fire Emblem, and it's not really the most inviting gameplay. I feel the same way about Xenoblade, and I low-key feel the same way about Final Fantasy, bro. Final Fantasy, I have actually made a video about that like a year or 2 ago. But with Final Fantasy, it's a little different. I think Final Fantasy has an already iconic mainstay on the gaming industry with Final Fantasy VII. But when you have 16 games and counting, it's not really that inviting to people. And I feel like it's even worse with Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem probably has the same amount of games as Final Fantasy. But Fire Emblem is nowhere near as popular as Final Fantasy. And I feel like there's no notable game in the series at all. Like, there's a few names that I've heard from Fire Emblem. Like, I've heard Radiant Dawn is pretty cool. I know one of the GBA ones are cool. I forgot the name of it. I know Three Houses is very popular. But other than that... I just don't hear a lot of people talking about Fire Emblem games. But I do feel like Three Houses is that game. And if you don't like Three Houses, I don't think you'll like it, this whole series in general. So, I don't know. Regardless, I mean, what are y'all gonna pick up Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave? I will. I'll just admit I have my priorities for that month. I will admit, I can't lie to you. I love Nintendo, but sometimes I have to go with the other side. My mic just turned off, but I'm at the end of the video anyway, so this quality is gonna sound horrible, whatever. Go and give this video a thumbs up, y'all. Share with your friends, subscribe. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making this. I've been talking for like 30 minutes, so yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video, bro. Bye.